everyone, Greg Taylor, Upper Level Consulting. Welcome back to Print on Demand 101. Here, let's get into lesson 3, identifying niches and doing some market research. So, what is a niche? A niche is a specialized segment of a market. So, the best way that we start to identify niches is we start with ourselves. What are we interested in? You know, when it came to doing our first print on demand company, Section 419, what we wanted to do is we wanted to do sports shirts. And then we didn't want to do all the teams in all the cities because we didn't really identify with all that. So we wanted to do Philadelphia sports shirts. So our niche there that we selected, it was print on demand, was shirts, and then sports, and then we drilled it down even further to Philadelphia sports. And that's how we got started. So start with yourself. You know, times are not always going to be easy, and you're going to get burnt out either creatively or on the business of print on demand. And that's just a fact. So we got to consider, and we got to get you going in the right direction with something that is interesting to you, whether it's music or food, sports, football, travel, anything like that can become a niche that you want to really, really penetrate. See, you're not trying to sell shirts to everybody in the world. You're trying to sell shirts and items, and mugs and glasses, etc., any print-on-demand item to people who are interested in the specific interest that your brand is creating, and that's the niche. So this is some of the ways that we do it. So we use Google Trends to start, and I'm going to start off here with Google Trends, and I'm just going to start within, let's say, coffee quotes. So navigate your way to Google Trends, and what we're going to do is we're going to enter the keyword and the phrase to see how it's trending on the internet. So we're entering coffee sayings. So right now we have the coffee sayings. Okay, it looks like it's okay. Let's look last 12 months. All right, so there definitely is an interest over time when it comes to coffee sayings. So let's narrow it down a little bit. Let's say coffee sayings on mugs. Okay, so again, there's an interest in coffee sayings on a print-on-demand product right here. So let's drill down even more, and we say, let's go to coffee saying shirts. Okay, so now it's a flat line. It's not as much of an interest as before. So that tells us that there is going to be some room in this niche market for us to go ahead and create a brand. What we really want to do is we want to pay attention to anything else perhaps that is going to support our market. So coffee quotes, shirts, again. So the yellow line is flat, so there is room within that market. So once we kind of see that there's a need for what we're making and there's a need in the market, that there's a void that we can fill, we can start to say, okay, well, maybe, we're not going to do coffee mugs. That's pretty saturated. Maybe we're not going to do just coffee quotes. That's too general. Let's do coffee quotes on shirts. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. From there, what we like to do is let's study some competition. Let's go to market a little bit and do some research. So what you can do is there are 2 places that I like to go to. The first one is Etsy itself. Etsy is a huge online selling market. So let's see if there's any need or there's any want for the item coffee shirts on Etsy. Let's drill down from, all of the different types of items that you can sell print on demand or the different genres, and let's see where that brings us. So here we are at Etsy. So just Etsy.com, we're going to type in again, coffee mugs. Let's see how many products come up. So, okay, it looks like quite a bit of products. Over 1.9 million products come up. Okay, so that definitely is a pretty saturated market. So let's append that. Say, let's go coffee quotes. Okay, now we've gone down significantly to 133,000. Let's see if we can go down even more. Coffee quote shirts. Oh, here we are. So 18,755 results. This is exactly where we want to be. And here are some of the different designs that are out there. that you can do a little bit of market research with. So this looks like a good niche.
From there, the last thing I want to do is study my competition. I want to just do a plain Google search for the niche that I'm selling in. Again, we're going to stay in coffee here with this example. And let's see where that brings us. Let's see who are the players on page 1, and let's look at what they're doing, and let's maybe look at some of their designs, and let's see how populated the items are.
So here, as we navigate to Google, what we're going to do is just put in our key search term, and then let's just look to see how populated the landscape is. From here, we can go into a website or two and get pricing strategy and maybe to see what designs are offered. But this really is just to validate our market and our niche selection.
Okay, so now that we know that there is a general need and there is a general niche, and it's coffee quotes on shirts and coffee sayings on shirts is something that we're interested in, let's do one last thing to kind of validate our hypothesis. Let's go to a social platform. Let's go to Instagram, and let's just do a general search for what we're looking for.
Let's put in our niche search terms, see what pops up. Okay, so there are a lot of coffee shirts out there. There's a lot of people doing them. Let's poke into one of their 2 of the posts, see how popular they are, see how many comments there are. But what this lets us do is just validate that there is a market, there is a want, and we're definitely onto something.
Let's dig in from here. Let's look at what products are the most popular. Let's look at what the selling point is. Let's look at the pricing strategy, and we can do that all from the website that we just visited and any other selling site. When you start pricing your products, I would stay away from pricing it to be competitive with Etsy or Teespring or Redbubble, because I think that what that is, they're not very good at helping you create a brand, but they are very good at helping you sell things. So that typically is, we've used it in the past as a loss leader to kind of build our Section 419 brand. As our Etsy sales were going up, what we wanted to do is we also wanted to bring up the sales and our own independent platform, because those typically are at a higher profitability margin. So once you validate your niche, it's time for you to start designing things. It's time for you to start getting ideas. It's time for you to start some of the branding process. Your company, print-on-demand company name should be named around your niche. Again, ours is Section 419, or we use Rocked and Rolled, or we're using 321 Fitness for our different brands. That totally says exactly what you're going to get when you go into the website or you go into the Etsy store. Some of the other tools that you can use is, you can use, if you're kind of tech savvy, you can use Ahrefs, or you can use like Uber Suggest for keywords to see how people are finding different items. You can use Moz or BuzzSumo, but those are kind of technical and they are paid tools. The last thing I want you to consider, and this is a big thing when you're naming your brand and you're validating your niche, is are you gonna infringe on anybody's copyright or trademarks? You don't want to get into a situation where you're opening yourself up to some sort of liability. So please be very careful when it comes to that. Also, you're gonna have to think about profitability and scalability. Is this item and is this niche one that's gonna grow? Or is this sort of a dead niche and I'm just gonna, take it and cash out? Or is this something that I can really build on? When you're starting, again, for this example, when you're starting off with coffee quotes on shirts, it also lends itself to some other products where you can start also putting them on mugs and glasses or notebooks, planners, things like that. So you can, again, kind of subsidize the main product and support it with these other products that are secondary purchases. So I hope this helps. Definitely download the course handout and the lesson stuff. It explains everything. This niche and market research section is super important before you get going and before you start anything further. This is going to tell you what URL to buy. This is going to tell you what print provider you're going to use. This is going to tell you, where we're going to sell these items. And we're going to cover all that in the next couple of upcoming lessons. So stay tuned. Thanks for tuning in. See you lesson 4.